All right, ladies and gents, welcome to today's video. My name is Taylor Ventrude. Very excited to talk to you today about how your motivation changes as you evolve. Okay, and most people don't realize this. This is such an important video because if you think that it doesn't change, what's going to happen is you're going to reach a new level. That's going to be really exciting, but what's going to happen is that your motivation is going to be gone. What used to drive you and what got you there is no longer going to get you to the next level. And so you need to realize that your motivation, your drive, your why, it is going to change as you evolve, and you're going to need to keep evolving your motivation, your why. And to do this, you need to do a self-reflection, an intro, basically, I think introspection might be the word, but reflecting upon the self, so that you can get yourself to that next level. All right, so we're going to use Maslow's hierarchy of needs in the whiteboard today to be able to kind of better explain this. And most people don't talk about this one right here, the graph, which I love way more than the pyramid. Pyramid's great, but the graph is better. And I'm going to try to give you some prime examples of myself and how my motivation has changed along the timeline of scaling the agency from around $0 to $100,000 per month over the years. All right. So at the very basic level, we have psychological needs. Now Maslow describes this to be food, warmth, water, rest, etc. That's great. I would like to merge safety and psychological together because in today's day and age, you need a house which is safe to be able to even sleep. So to get rest, you kind of need safety as well. The point is that these basic needs, when you're starting your agency, they're usually met if you're young and you're living at your parents' house. If you're living on your own and you still need to take care of these basic needs and you have a job and etc., well then that's different. You might be here. But the point is that when you don't have one of these things, the motivator is going to be that thing. So a homeless dude on the street is extremely motivated to just get food, warmth, and water and rest. Okay, so that's like his day-to-day. That's what's driving him, is literally to survive. This is survival. Basic needs is survival, ladies and gents, all right? So survival never really motivated me because when I was scaling the agency and the agency was at 0 MRR, literally as it started, I had that, right? I was living at my parents' house. My parents are very loving. They provided a great, shelter for me with food and water and everything I needed, and we lived in a safe house, and I was very fortunate to have that, okay? So I was very blessed. I didn't have to worry about the safety and the psychological needs. That kind of gave me a bit of a head start relative to people who don't have that. The point is that never motivated me. What did motivate me at the time of starting the agency and trying to get there was basically esteem, okay? And belongingness and love needs, again, this was already pretty much met because I had a very loving mother, I had a very loving father, etc. This stuff was met. And I didn't necessarily need this through friends. And I kind of had a girlfriend at the time, but realized that I didn't really want that. And we ended up not being together, and I broke up with her, etc. Long story short, I didn't care about belongingness and love needs because it was somewhat already there, but I was so focused on esteem needs. So starting the agency, ladies and gents, esteem is where it was coming from. I wanted to be able to move out, live on my own. I wanted to be able to live wherever I wanted because I did not like where I was living. It was super cold. Edmonton, Alberta is a super cold place, 9 months of the year, and there's really not much to do there. Okay, I don't know if anybody's been there. So that was the huge motivation for me. Now, here's the thing. Here is the thing, ladies and gents. When I got to about $20,000 per month, okay, we're just going to call this 20K. It took about a year. I moved out, and I moved to Panama. Okay, so that's where I am today. And I had already gotten what was originally motivating me. So $20,000 a month was hit, and boom, I already have the ability to move out. I've moved out. What used to motivate me no longer motivates me. There's a plateau because, I don't know, damn, okay, now I got this. What do I want now? And then the next thing, which I thought at the time, for me was just like a mansion, a freaking super expensive car, all these materialistic things. Okay, it was all these materialistic things, and I was still stuck in esteem. So esteem was still the motivation, except the motivation was no longer moving out and feeling the pride and the accomplishment of independence. It was now the extremely relentless and endless self-sabotaging game of acquiring materialistic things. And most people never go beyond this point. Okay, most people never reach beyond this point. So I would say from 20 to about 35, 40, we'll just say 35 because I already wrote it, but it was up until about 40,000. This was pretty much constantly the need. It was constantly the thing that was wanted. And there was other ventures that were launched at this time, okay? So there were other ventures that were launched at this time, and I would say the actual revenue across multiple businesses was around, at its peak, $95 to $100,000 per month at this time, but the agency was only doing about 35. And finally, what had happened after multiple years, it was broken, and I released Materialistic Desires, and it became all about self-actualization, achieving one's full potential. And this gives you so much more energy than I can even begin to explain. The relentless acquisition of materialistic things is definitely not the ideal, and it's pretty self-sabotaging if you continue to go to the extreme and you want to buy the most expensive things and go to the most expensive places and fly first class or have your own private jet. I mean, just like that game never ends. It never ends. I mean, at that point, you're trying to make billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and you don't need that stuff to make you happy. However, I thought I did. So self-sabotaging. Now, for you, I don't know where you are. However, you should be able to look at this chart. You should be able to identify kind of what the primary driver is for you. It's an intuitive feeling. Okay, you don't have to try to objectively think of this. You just like for 2 seconds sit down. What's motivating me? And generally, you'll have a decent idea. If you're looking at this graph. If you don't have this graph, then you'll be like trying to figure out where you are on the map, etc. It'll be hard to kind of understand where you are. However, you can look at this map. Some people, it's belonging and love needs. There was a long time where I didn't have a girlfriend, and I was trying to scale my agency, and it kind of just naturally happened. I never really longed for an intimate, deep relationship. It just naturally happened, and actually when that happened, it was funny. It was like, I think that's what really allowed me to release the materialistic desires. So I think this one was missing, and because that was missing, this one was taking extreme precedence to the utmost degree, oddly enough. So that's how it worked for me. Now for you, I don't know where you are, but the point is that you need to kind of know where you are, because once you transcend that level, there's going to be a feeling of emptiness. There's going to be a feeling of, what am I doing? Why am I no longer motivated? And it's not going to be there for weeks. It's not going to be there for months. It can only be there for a couple days, maybe a few hours, so long as you're aware that your motivation, your drive, your why is going to change. Now, self-actualization is a never-ending game. This is really beautiful once you get up here, because it's there's so much energy here. It's insane. You can just always tap into it. It's like lifelong, limitless energy, 24/7, and it's not about acquiring material. It's primarily just about you becoming the best version of yourself. So you start to transcend, and you start to get in love with the game. You're no longer in love with the outcome, because esteem needs is the outcome. You're in love with accomplishment. You're in love with hitting $100,000 per month. There's a lot of ego that comes with building a 7-figure business. There's a lot of ego that comes with buying a super expensive car, or a fancy $200,000 watch, or a mansion, etc. All these things. Now you can try to make the argument that you can buy these things and you can have these things and there's no ego, and that's true. There's very rare cases, there's anomalies, there's people who buy these things and don't want to be seen, and they just want to have them for themselves, and they don't want to try to show the world that they're driving a Ferrari, etc. However, those people are very rare, and they're anomalies, so to speak. Most people that are driving that kind of car drive it not because it goes from 0 to 60 super fast, but because of the status and the feeling that you get and how people project onto you when you're driving that type of car, etc. Status, that's more or less what we're getting at here. So I would say that right around $40,000-$50,000 a month in the agency, it became all about self-actualization, and that was very fortunate, because that was right around the time when we were starting to hire people quite quickly. And the company's vision, mission statement, its inception more or less, is primarily about self-actualization, if you will. I mean, the vision for the company more or less is to build the greatest vehicle for self-actualization in the entire world, in the most simple, high-level view that you could. People centricity, in my opinion, is a vehicle of self-actualization. To build the most people-centric company in the world, you need to basically build the best vehicle for self-actualization. How do you do that? Well, that's kind of more or less what we're figuring out on a day-to-day basis. So, ladies and gents, find out where you are. Strive to reach the top of this pyramid, because the top is very beautiful, and all I can say is that I made this post on Facebook recently. One of the most greatest decisions, or not even decisions, but stages of evolution in this lifetime has been releasing the desire for materialistic things. That doesn't mean that it occasionally creeps back into my life. It does sometimes, where sometimes I was looking at places with my girlfriend the other day with Nicole, and we were looking at this penthouse, and we went to go actually see it. It was like $1.3 million. I was thinking to myself, holy crap, this thing is gorgeous. It's huge. I mean, I would love to buy this thing. And for like I would say one day, it kind of emotionally wrecked me that I more or less didn't want to buy this, or wanted to buy this thing, but knew I shouldn't buy it. And it was causing basically unhappiness, more or less, because I'm not in a position to spend $1.3 million on a penthouse. That would destroy the cash flow of our business. Again, I could get a mortgage, but that wouldn't be ideal. And then I'd have this like weight around my ankle, which I don't want right now. Again, if there was millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in the bank, I'd probably have no problem with it, but it's just not the stage right now. So there was a day of unhappiness, and then it was transcended. Whereas my prior self, it was just like that all the time, 24/7, looking at the next thing to get, the next thing to buy, the next piece of material to acquire. So that's it. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this is insightful for you. And without further ado, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button. It's the only thing I asked for. This was a huge process and learning curve for me to be able to wrap my head around. However, when I saw these two images here, it really summarized everything, and it's pretty beautiful. Hopefully I did a decent job of explaining my evolution. Hopefully that helps you see your own evolution as well. All right, ladies and gents, thanks for watching. Hit the sub button. Much love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.